And honestly, this is more important the more improvement you have to make. That 25 handicap has a lot more improvement to make than that scratch golfer.
Yeah.
In fact, I like working with that 15 to 25 handicap.
You just see a much better results out of that fit.
Yeah, I mean, if I cut half a shot right off of a scratch golfer's game, they're probably going to want to hug me.
Yeah.
Right. But you can cut 10 shots off of that 25 handicapper, and it changes their life on the golf course.
Yeah. Welcome back, everyone. As always, I'm Joe. Here's Mitch. Today's video, we're going to talk about Fujikura Axiom shafts. Right now, these shafts aren't new. They've been out for a couple of years. I believe they released them initially in 2023.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and they just came out with a couple new options, right? The 95 gram and also a 125 gram stiff shaft, right? So, Mitch, tell me a little bit. What do you know about Axiom? I know you gamed them already in your irons currently.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I'm making a switch here just to go back to steel and see if it's a little bit tighter dispersion. But I've been playing the Axiom for a year and a half now. 105X is what I play. And what I've found is a lot of folks, especially the folks that I've fit, I found this out in the fitting bay, honestly, fitting other people, and it was fitting my customers. And you can drop about 10 to 15 grams of weight, but still keep a relative stiffness and be able to actually game those. Whereas if you were trying to drop 10 grams in steel, it might not work out for you.
Exactly.
So that's why it's so important to really try those out and see if you can play graphite, because it's not your grandfather's graphite.
I know I tell golfers all the time, like, why go graphite over steel? It's just one of those things that I believe are going to naturally happen over time. I mean, 30 years ago, you wouldn't find a graphite shaft in a driver. And that switch has already happened, right? That's come and gone. And then it was 3-wood, that's come and gone. Hybrids. So the question here is why graphite over steel? And what I tell people constantly is, with steel, you can really only affect the wall thickness and maybe that step pattern, right? If you go lighter with a steel shaft, you have to go softer. You do, because you're going to be changing just that profile of that shaft. So with graphite, they can use all these exotic materials in different ways to build a graphite shaft that maintains a stiff and rigid profile, but also gives you that lighter feel to it so you can swing it a little quicker if you needed to.
Yeah, and what I love about this is having the 95 come out, right, which is going to be brand new for the Axiom line, which we have behind the desk there. It's going to be even it's a better weight range for a lot of our golfers out there, especially the ones that I've seen fitting. I fit 95 gram shafts a lot for kind of those mid-swing range, mid-swing speeds.
Absolutely.
But it's been great for me. I have a shoulder injury. I've got some neck injuries. I went to graphite to help with just vibration through impact, really helped me to be pain-free. And so I played the last year and a half absolutely pain-free. I'm excited to try the C-taper, see if I can go back to steel, see if I've rehabbed enough to where I'm not going to have that pain. But if pain comes back, I'm going right back to the Axiom.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, to speak on Axiom specifically, what makes Axiom so great, Fujikura, now it's not a new, like I said, it's not a new concept, but they use that Velocore that they've had in their driver shaft in Ventus, that they've done so well on tour with. And with Axiom, what they've been able to do is put that Velocore all the way throughout that shaft. Now, what is Velocore? Now, we've talked about it before, but Velocore is a high tonnage, what was it, 70
pitch, I believe.
Yeah, 70 pitch material they can put in these shafts that really help with the stability of the shaft, right? And in layman terms, twist resistance, right? You get more off-center hits on the face, that shaft doesn't want to twist as much. And same thing with just the bend profile during the swing. It's not going to twist as much. And what does that mean? It means tighter dispersions on mishits for your clubs.
And it means that they can make it stiffer, less twisting, with lighter weight.
Exactly.
Right? And look, if it can handle Bryson DeChambeau's swing, I mean, he doesn't swing the Axioms, but if Graphite can handle Bryson DeChambeau's swing, it can handle yours.
Yeah, so which one do you have right now, the 105X?
So I've got the 105X, which is what I game.
Okay.
We've got the new T150.
Got it. Let's do it, man.
Really excited.
Yeah, swing a few. You're all warmed up, right?
I am. As warm as I'll get.
Yeah. I mean, right away.
Frozen rope.
Yeah, great swing. There you go, really good swing.
Yeah. That's the one miss that I just don't like, that overdraw. But it's also like 93 miles an hour. That's borderline X-Flex.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really put people into X-Flex unless you're swinging like more than 95 on an iron. But for me, it's stability. I still play the X in the Axiom. I'm going down to the C-taper 120 stiff because we're adding the weight It's about the same stiffness. I feel a little bit more play in that C-taper, honestly. But what's interesting is, even though I've gone lighter, I can still stay in that X just for tightening up the dispersion. Because if I try the 105S, I'm going left. It's just too soft, right? So it's kind of trying to find like that Goldilocks effect, like what's right in the middle. Put a little ass into that one.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, looking at your swing speed, I know a lot of people might think, you swing pretty hard, right? 93 miles an hour for a 6-iron. I don't swing 93 miles an hour. But that's the beauty of this, is what we're showing is it can handle your speed, right? And we have all these different weight options, all these different flex options to play around. Go out there and try, right? What Fujikura has done with the Axiom is they're trying to create a ton of different options for people to try out, see if it works with the Pro line, with the Vista Pro line, and now with Axiom. Now, another cool thing about the Axiom shaft is, and I always say this to people whenever I'm fitting them into an Axiom, is they're in and of itself is a combo set, right?
Yes.
So for shafts, normally that doesn't happen. You're gonna have one shaft that's from your high irons down to your low irons, right? Well, what Axiom does, it's a 3-part parallel shaft design, right? So for your long irons, your 2, 3, and 4 iron, right? Those are going to have its own specific shaft built a specific way. And then you're going to have your 5, 6, and 7 iron, your mid, and those are going to be a different type of build, different profile. And then your short irons are going to be slightly different as well. What they've done there is it helps them maintain the right weight. It helps them maintain the right amount of Velocore in the tip. For you club builders out there, when it comes to building with graphite shafts, you have to tip trim. For a majority of them.
As long as they're parallel.
Exactly. Right? You have to tip trim to maintain a specific stiffness depending on what iron it's going into. Well, with this, they don't want to tip trim it too much, right? You get out to 3, 4 inches of tip trimming. That's a lot of Velocore that you're taking off the tip there, right? And then at that point, you're only going to have some Velocore in a 4, 5, and 6 iron, right? But everything else you wouldn't. So they've created this 3-part design so that you're only tipping a maximum of up to an inch, no matter what club you're putting that shaft into, right?
It saves material. It allows them to flight those shafts the proper way from the long to the mid to the short. And then once you get down to the wedges, and like I put them all the way down to the lob wedge, just to show like, look, match them up. If you get that for performance-based engineer scoring clubs, that's what you want, right?
Absolutely.
Being your wedges, 8 iron and down. But it's just, this has been a game changer. I'm really glad the 95 has come out, because for a while it didn't make much sense to me. They went from 105 to 75. That was their major. I'm like, we need that 95, because that low 80s, mid 80s swinger, I'm thinking 95 a lot. At least that's where I'm starting. There's a range. You got to test it. I got to hand you bad stuff and good stuff to find the right stuff, right? But at the end of the day, like knowing that 95's out there, it's going to fit a lot more people at home that are watching this, which is just huge, right? So before it was like, man, like I really wish I had this, because I think it would be a great profile for you. Didn't have it, right? I had to go to steel fiber.
Well, I'm glad your daily letters to Fujikura are finally paying off, right?
Yes.
They just released the 95s.
They did. Ooh, really good.
One of us. Wow, shoot. It's right down the middle. Isn't it?
182 right down the middle. That would have been so much sod on the golf course.
Oh, okay. You're like the Hideki, right? You can't tell from the finish what that ball's actually going to do. You have to wait for it to land.
Disgusting.
Yeah. There you go.
A little better.
No, Mitch, why is it that you think professionals on tour haven't really made that switch yet?
It's because they are so used to the feel of Dynamic Gold, Tour Issue, S4, X100, that they just don't want to change.
For sure.
I mean, you could probably fit Tiger into something different and get better numbers, but he's not going to hit his windows.
Yeah.
So some of it's that. They don't want to change their windows, their swing speed's kind of maintained, they're in really good shapes, they're not losing it with age, right?
Yeah.
So I really think it's more that, and you could get better numbers, but also sometimes with graphite, you lose a little control. Yeah. Sometimes. You get a little more pop, you lose a little bit of control. But that's not everybody, right? I gained some control when I switched to it, but now that I've rehabbed my shoulder a little bit and I feel like I can handle the heavier weight of a steel shaft, I want to go back to it and see if I can tighten up the dispersion.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of gone away from me after I've changed my swing from the rehab.
For sure.
I think that's the biggest reason, in all honesty. But I think you're going to see more and more people switch to it because it's getting more and more mainstream. And you mentioned the driver was the first thing to switch from steel to graphite, right? And then it's just kind of worked its way down. I think you're going to start seeing more folks, go to the graphite and the irons on tour later on as the years progress. But you're not going to see the wedges change for a little bit.
Exactly.
Right?
Okay. Why don't you hand me that club there? One thing I would like to highlight is what we just talked about. Why would you put someone into a graphite shaft? Well, you like to go, I always say, let's try to go as light as possible. Something you can control, but maximize that swing speed.
Agreed.
Right? So what I want you to do is I want you to swing the 125 gram, right?
Okay.
In moderation. I want you to hurt yourself. Keep talking about,
thanks.
right? Your shoulders there.
Yeah, I'm delicate.
So, you're delicate, yeah. So let's swing that, and then I'll have you swing the 95 gram, and we can just really see what the difference is in swing speed, okay?
Yeah.
And just kind of highlight that difference. This here is the 125.
All right.
So let's take that.
I mean, I can feel it already.
Can you now?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is the S. So I'm going to talk about, after I take a couple swings, like comparing the stiffness of the 105X to the 125S, right? Because I think that's going to be, I think it's going to feel a little stiffer, in all honesty, from what I remember when I hit it about a year and a half ago.
What 125 actually means.
So 125 grams is the weight of this shaft, right? So 20 grams more than that 105, right? Quick math there. I think I got it right. But by adding some more material, we're already making it a little bit stiffer. Now, am I saying the S is going to be stiffer than the X? Not necessarily, but if you did the 105X versus the 125X, right? Absolutely, it's going to be stiffer than that 105.
Ball speed actually went up a little bit.
Yeah, it honestly feels a little softer.
Does it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Would make sense. It's a stiff, not an
Yeah,
X.
yeah, but I just sometimes different lines of shafts. You go from that X, you go up in weight, and you go to the stiff, and it feels stiffer to me in some of them. Every shaft line is different.
Yeah.
It's almost why I never look at like a curve chart of stiffness of the shaft. Is it stiffer in the butt, the mid, the tip? It's just what is it in the eyes of the beholder? Who's hitting the shaft? It's just everybody's experience is different.
Yes.
I mean, and that's why we fit, scratch golfers, we fit 25 handicappers. And honestly, this is more important the more improvement you have to make. That 25 handicap has a lot more improvement to make than that scratch golfer.
Yeah.
In fact, I like working with that 15 to 25 handicapper.
You just see much better results out of that fit.
Yeah, I mean, if I cut half a shot right off of a scratch golfer's game, they're probably going to want to hug me.
Yeah.
Right. But you can cut 10 shots off of that 25 handicapper, and it changes their life on the golf course.
Yeah. Now that's something I wanted to say was your swing speed really didn't go down much, even though we went to a 125, right?
Yeah. Well, the shaft bent and loaded a little bit more for me, right?
100%.
So I still
it was
got that
actually
pop.
identical.
Yeah.
92.8 and then 92.8 with that one.
Yeah.
I mean, identical clubs there.
And it's also interesting you mentioned that too, because of a graphite shaft, you can manipulate the materials, the interior of the shaft more. You can put that weight in different places.
Yeah.
So you can grab another 125 stiff in graphite, and it might have a different balance point.
Yeah.
It might go down like you're saying, but because there's different materials in different spots, right, where the balance point is, it could be the opposite too. Right? But because in general, that is the rule. You go to a heavier shaft, balance point of the head goes down, right? And your lighter swing weight. It's just insane what they've done in graphite. I mean, in the last 15, 20 years, the advancements have been in shafts more than they have been in the heads. Driver heads have been maxed out from USGA perspective and how much ball speed you can get from your club head speed being that 1.5 smash factor, right? It's more than that, illegal head, right?
What are we talking
With
about?
drivers?
We're on a shaft.
I know.
What are you talking about?
I'm riffing at this point. We can cut this shit out. But within shafts, they've been able to make a lot of advancements, be able to do lighter materials, higher tonnage, really distribute the weight. Within heads, there's not much more they can do, is the point, right? So the change in shafts, the biggest thing in the last 10, 15 years. That way. Tried to save that. It does feel, I mean, a little heavy for me.
All right, let's try the 95.
All right. think on the ones that I hit well, the flight actually came up a little bit with that 125.
I did notice that in your first swing.
First and last one. So I'm trying the 95R here. I want to see how much more of a draw I'm going to get, right, from that, because it's going to be softer. It's also going to be lighter. I should expect to have some more club head speed because we just dropped, 30 grams of weight from that 125 down to the 95. Now, my swing speed with the 105 and the 125 is about the same, but I expect to gain some club head speed with this and some ball speed as an effect. But is my control going to be there? Find out.
You speak very definitive of a draw. See, as a fitter myself, now this is just me and you talking, Mitch.
Yeah.
With your transition speed, I would expect a fade. I would expect more of a slice. Only because I don't expect the club head to be able to catch up because of how soft that club is. Right? You're going to come down. The face is going to be open because it's staying flexed and it's not whipping back.
I could see that with some folks, but what I've seen with myself is when I go lighter, too light, right? And I go too soft, I flip more. I feel it back here and I just flip.
Got it. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Dead straight.
I mean,
swing speed did go up.
Great as hell. I had to save that, but I didn't blast it out to the right. It's easier to save.
Now, we are seeing an increase in swing speed. Just kind of
Yeah.
how we expected, right? Overall weight of that club is lighter. Your natural swing, you're able to swing a little faster.
Surprisingly straight. Yeah, felt that a little bit out to the right, got under it. But I will say, before I hit one more, like, it feels better than the 125 to me.
Okay.
I know it's closer to the 105 in weight, right? It actually feels, I'm not surprised at how good it feels.
Okay.
It doesn't feel too soft.
Yeah.
Even though it's a 95 regular, it doesn't feel too soft.
Got it.
Which is pretty interesting. It's a testament to the Velocore and how stable it is. One more.
And what was wrong with that?
Huh? I just feel the shoulder drop, and I'm trying not to do that. Need to get more on top of it, get that left shoulder moving.
Okay. Well, let's take a look here, all right? We're going to take a look at some of the numbers here. We've got the 105X,
Yep.
your gamer, right? You're getting great smash factor. And honestly, you're getting great smash out of all this. So you're finding the center of the face. Now, you're also a really good golfer, and everyone knows this, right? We all know this.
Thanks.
But the same thing for your average golfer out there, the Velocore is going to help with that stability, help with that accuracy and consistency of a club. Looking now, just like we expected, the lightest shaft is the one that you swung the fastest. And you weren't trying to swing any harder. It was just naturally happening for you.
Yeah.
It was easier. Now, in terms of where the ball went, yes, I do feel like you lost a little bit of control, and we'll see that here in a second through the dispersion. But that was the quickest ball speed, right? Because you were seeing tons of swing speed. Spin numbers were relatively the same, 47.5 to about 5,000.
Yeah.
Around the same height. Land angle was a little higher here, right? You had lower launch with the 105X, which makes sense, right? That X stiff, it's not going to flex as much. You're going to have a little bit more of that lower launch.
Makes a lot of sense.
Distance, very, very similar distances here for you, okay? So what you're gaining in swing speed isn't really translating to more distance. And that's because you're getting a little bit more spin out of it. You're getting a little bit more height, a little bit more launch. It is what it is. Now, when we take a look at dispersion, your gamer, the white here, so the Axiom 105X, you get a little bit left and right here, but for the most part, your tightest dispersion is going to be there on the left, just slightly, little baby fade or little baby draw. Now, very interesting, the Axiom 95R is the most right of the day. And like I said,
that's what you expected.
and that's what I expected, right?
Yeah.
You expected draws, I expected fades, just because you have a quicker tempo. You have a quicker transition from your backswing to your downswing. And that club, with as soft as it is, it's going to flex, it's not going to catch up, and that club face is going to be slightly open. At least that's the way I've always seen it. So,
Well, you were right, and kind of like.
I'm sorry, what was that last
I'm
thing
not
you said?
saying it again.
What was that last thing you said?
No, didn't happen. We're gonna cut
Will,
that.
can we rewind that, please?
I never said you were right.
Said what?
You were wrong. No,
I was less wrong than normal. You were less right than normal. There you go.
That's perfect.
There you go.
No, but seriously, like what I had experienced after my injury is different than what I experienced before my injury, and I haven't tested something this much lighter than what I've been playing now. Like a 95, I haven't hit a 95 in a long time.
Yeah.
But what I'm seeing now is I'm not flipping my hands. And what I've seen dropping from like the 125 LZ that I used to play, after I went away from the C-Taper X130, was I was flipping that more, right? I dropped to the Axiom and I wasn't, because it was lighter, but it just ended up, I just wasn't flipping it. It was great, and I see the opposite a lot with folks, but sometimes I'm like, okay, panning him stiff and heavy, he's flipping it. Let's try a little bit lighter and see what happens. And sometimes it works, right? And what you're seeing here is just that, right? We went to the 95. I was further inside and had that quick transition. Didn't draw.
Absolutely.
And I would, honestly, from all of that, I would rather play the 95R than
Just from
the
a
other
feel
two.
perspective, or?
Well, the feel was fine. It was just, I don't like seeing it go left.
Yeah.
And I didn't hit one left with it, which
Yeah.
was kind of cool and not what I expected. So,
That's really cool.
yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, all in all, yeah. Really cool to watch someone like yourself swing these, because you can truly see a difference, right? For us mere mortals of the world, it's still worth giving them a try, right? Swing all the different variations. You got 75, 95, 105, and the 125s now in the Axiom. Give them a try. Go out there and swing them, right? See your local fitter and see what works best for you. And that's the beauty of having all these different options out there. Fujikura is doing their part. Yeah. They've got a few different lines with a few different options here for every single golfer out there. So,
I mean, and the last thing I'll say is, for everybody at home, like scratch golfer plus handicaps, we can make things work, right? But what matters for you at home is the fact that you need to be able to try out the different weights. The weight of the shaft is the most important thing, and you will see a much larger difference between these than I saw today. That's why it's so important to try and find the right weight. Yeah. I look at it in a fitting, the weight first, the bend profile second. You're going to have a pretty dang good idea of where the flex is, but if you're borderline, we'll test that along the way as well. You're going to see a much wider difference, for most people than you would with me.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, again, Fujikura really knocked it out of the park here. They're listening to the golfers. They're figuring out what we need, and they're delivering, right? Giving us more options for better gains. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and if you want to see more videos, be sure to check out the channel.